Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DBR on CBR. That's right, it's time for your favorite time of the week. It's time for Dragon Ball Rewatch. And if you are watching along with us, we hope you're watching along on Hulu or Crunchyroll. And if you're reading along with us, we hope you are reading along in the Viz Media translation of the manga. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John, episode 36, Major Metallitron. Japan got this October 29th, 1986. Americans, February 20th, 2002. We're doing two chapters again, The Flexing of Muscle Tower and Devil on the Third Floor, which not really a fitting title, but we'll take it.
We'll take it.
I revisiting this episode, I forgot how much I enjoyed the Major Metallitron stuff. It's probably my favorite segment within Muscle Tower. Mostly just because what comes next isn't particularly great.
I'm surprised this fight ended up annoying me.
Really? What was up
I think the structure. I think they kept doing the fake out. He's dead. No, he's not. He's dead. No, he's not. I listened to it too many times in one episode. I think the thing for me was that the fight didn't seem to build when they did those. Because when they Jackie Chun fight, whenever they did a fake out, one of them losing, the next bit of the fight would be different. So you had Jackie getting frustrated, the hypnosis bit, the sort of edges. Here it just felt like he'd get back up, then he'd just go back to punching kicks again. He didn't. I would have personally moved the rocket tongue to the end of the fight. That'd be his last salvo attack. But I just felt like there wasn't sort of an overall story to this fight as much as there was. Goku knocks him down, he gets back up. Goku gets frustrated, but doesn't really do anything with it.
For me, on the one hand, I like robots are cool. On the other hand, this felt like a weird fan fiction fight to me. What if Goku versus the Terminator via Arnold Schwarzenegger? It just I understand why it's here and I get it. And there is some really cool sci-fi stuff in there. And I don't know what's going on with White's voice and how it's now changing a bunch of times now, but this feels very gimmicky. It almost has a Freddy versus Jason vibe to it, which I love Freddy versus Jason. But
Sure.
I'm kind of acknowledging that is the vibe that this has. It feels very fan servicey in a very disjointed way. I like it, but I like it because I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I said I just wish they'd have structured it a little bit better to give sort of a more decisive ending.
I think if this fight had lasted more than a single episode, it's for me, its stress marks and its weak points would be more apparent. Doing it in a single episode. Also, one of the things I enjoy about it is Goku enjoys the fight for the most part, which we didn't see with Colonel Silver. He was more annoyed by Silver and everything. Whereas with Metallitron, it's oh, you should enter tournaments. We should do this again. And then he blows his head off and was oh, okay.
I do kind of that confirms our fan theory of the tournament as being this weird niche thing that no one is known by a little group, but no one really knows about it. So Goku's the ultimate fighter. It doesn't really, everyone's yeah, whatever, man. Cool.
It's so there are weird things about Muscle Tower for me, and I feel and we're gonna get into this more. It feels like Muscle Tower is just trying to reference different movies on each floor.
Mm-hmm.
And on the one hand, again, I am perfectly good with fan servicey nonsense, but I like the Red Ribbon Army arc. I just forgot how faffing about parts of Muscle Tower are, because I don't know if you guys noticed this. The recap in the beginning of this episode is a million years long.
It's about 4 minutes, yeah. Even weirder, we get sort of an odd thing on the ending, where the ending narration sort of does the usual, oh, what's going to happen next week? But then it cuts to Suna and we get new footage and recaps her plot. Then we go back to the ending. It's very odd. It's like that in Japan as well. That's not just some weird, oh, we had to move something for the dub. This is just narration's different this week, everybody.
I'm kind of wondering if there was a different director on this episode, or if there was just something, because there was something about the way this episode is structured that feels very different from everything that came before it.
Yeah, I can see that. It does
Mhm.
feel very odd. There's a few like, yeah, I don't know. Sam, can you find that? Because I didn't check, but it does have a very different feel. I think it
Uh,
doesn't help that we keep having that weird cutback between the fight and then Silver and his ninja friend's little romancy betting circle.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about how White and the ninja guy are definitely a couple, right? Like we're aware of this.
Well, no, because next episode reveals that Ninja Guy has tastes that are very disgusting.
But then you have him blushing over. We're going to talk about that next
Oh,
episode. We're gonna...
there's all sorts of weird little things. Can I point out as well? We had another fun dubbing production error in this episode. 16
Oh,
minutes in, you'll hear him say, "Impossible! How could he dodge that?" Listen again in your left ear, you'll hear the crackling of the speaker. Someone saying, "Very good." So once again, they forgot to turn the intercom off in the booth. And this one's much more obvious. I'm really surprised no one caught it because I heard like the other one. It took me a couple of was that a voice? This was like, oh, I heard it first time, like without even looking for it. So
yeah.
yes, always turn the intercom off when doing voice acting.
to be fair, this is when the Funimation guys, I think they were still like recording in a basement in Texas. So
Probably. Also, I wouldn't say any of that. The delivery of that impossible line was very good because the accent goes all around the UK in about a sentence.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this, you're noticing that, and I did double check. There's no production thing like, oh, why did this change up? There's no,
Well,
okay.
yeah, it's just another random episode of the World of Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's it is. I find the Muscle Tower episodes to kind of have this weird vibe, like it's just an odd kind of structure. I mean, the entire thing kind of apes Game of Death with Bruce Lee or Kung Fu with, on the NES, which I think I mentioned last week. Um, I don't know. There is something about Goku versus Metallitron, even as odd, constantly cutting back to Ninja Murasaki and General White as it gets. Um, and I think um I don't know. It's also cool seeing the alien foreshadowing, even though it's just a gag here.
Yeah, that was cool. I forgot that was there.
well, it's also a direct reference to Alien. It's the conversation Ripley has with the mother computer in the first Alien, with a couple of extra spelling mistakes thrown in for good measure.
Yeah.
Even the order number is the same order number for moving the Nostromo to go collect the xenomorph, which
What?
is fun because you remember this is in the 80s, so this wasn't something they could have Googled. Someone had to go down to the video rental store, get the tape, scroll through the film, and pause it on that screen to copy that down. Which references used to be hard, man, back in the day.
So Toriyama very clearly had a love of this subsection of like American 80s movies, like 70s and 80s movies, which is kind of fun to notice as you like point out the references.
Oh yeah, it's he definitely knows like a lot about films. You see like all these weird little references here and there. Like Space Patrol gets like Space Patrol effectively is just a riff on so many cheap 80s Toho films and
Well, and I think he really likes Terminator because I feel like a lot of the androids Future Trunk stuff is very clearly Terminator.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Future Trunks is John Connor with a sword.
Yeah. So this is, the Major Metallitron is the first inklings of what an aficionado of Terminator.
Red Ribbon Army invented Skynet. Like that's just canon.
Yeah.
And
I
you
was
could
doing
get
well, I
oh,
was
go
doing
ahead.
some digging. And because we were kind of speculating earlier, like what are the resources of the Red Ribbon Army? Their front is a pharmaceutical company.
Oh yeah, that comes up in Superhero.
Yeah,
Yes.
but they're big pharma gone wrong, which is to say, what's big pharma gone right? But anyway,
Ooh. Ooh.
Which again is a big there's all those 80s films have sort of the evil drug guy who then gets shot down,
yeah,
a la Megaforce.
Ooh.
good guys win even in the 80s.
Yeah. It's it's
uh,
very like Zeppelin guitar kind of motion.
What I love as well, you can tell it's aficionado because this came out before Terminator 2. This was the first Terminator only, because Terminator 2 wasn't until 91.
Oh,
Mhm.
So yeah, he was so big he was into it before it was cool.
yeah.
Which is funny because Funimation have dubbed in a few Terminator 2 isms into the dialogue, which weren't there because
Oh,
Terminator 2 wasn't out yet.
no, it's the thing that I've actually kind of started putting together, and literally just in this moment, is I'm starting to get like I know this came later, but the Saint Beast Tower in Yu Yu Hakusho had a very it seems to have taken this format because Yu Yu Hakusho didn't come this far after this point in Dragon Ball. It seems to have taken this format and just kind of like made it smaller, and I think that that's why I'm like noticing weird things in the pacing because like I remember Saint Beast Tower better than I remember Muscle Tower. So it's kind of blurring together for me in that like 90s and 80s animation thing.
I think I can see that because it has that whole art for Yu Yu Hakusho has a stronger aesthetic. It's kind of a shame from I'll come to this next episode of quite a bit, but one of my saddest things about Muscle Tower is we kind of start dropping the aesthetic because in this first bit you have a really cool sort of 80s military base look, but obviously next episode that vanishes and then we don't kind of see that again until we get to the top. So it does make it feel like we suddenly divert to another arc.
I do like whenever it like cuts out of Muscle Tower, like kind of John's background right now.
Oh yes,
It
this
kind
is
of, there's a lot of atmosphere there. You kind of get that with the more like the soundtrack, the do 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 do,
Yeah.
that little keyboard melody. And I think I mentioned this weeks ago. Like, really, the Red Ribbon Army saga is the saga the most with Dragon Ball, where I'm like, oh, this is an '80s show. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the most storyline that's the most indicative of its time.
If you had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles come out of nowhere and just be like, "We'll help you, Goku," and like it's the '80s Turtles, would
Yeah.
not be out of place. Like or if you had like Optimus Prime show up, would not be out of place. That is a crossover I would pay to see.
this is sort of the period of time where you kind of expecting Goku to turn around and tell you to brush your teeth at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Drink your Ovaltine, kids.
It's
That's GT, weirdly.
That is GT.
I mean, I think, so have we come up with a determination on General White's nationality yet?
So
He's been everywhere, man. He's been everywhere.
every now and then his Russian accent starts to get a little French as it goes forward. Like there's something, and then he gets like Transylvanian. It's so like he's just riding that Eastern European roller coaster, and every now and then he becomes a little French.
See, I'm sort of wondering if the voice actor regretted the decision to do this voice and he's kind of phasing out of it, and that's what the very good was about. Because that line, the impossible, is he has dropped the accent. So I do wonder if it was the case if he's like midway through, like, I can't keep this up. So we're going to like transition me out of it. And that's just what we're going to go with. Because, yeah, that very good made me think, why would you say very good to that line specifically? Because
General
it wasn't
White
very
is
good.
assimilating.
Yeah.
General White is assimilating to the local populace.
Also, the way that this tower is structured leads us to believe that Ninja Murasaki is more of a threat than Major Metallitron.
Yeah. He's the
Okay.
second boss.
I kind of took it as that being a deliberate thing though, like because they say no one's got to him next episode, so like they like preload the big guy. I guess you would have I can see the logic of having the robot as the first line of defense because he can just sit there. I do love his room. It's just a chair with nothing in it because he's a robot.
Well, also to evoke Game of Death again, when Bruce Lee makes it to the top of the tower, he faces Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is just sitting in a chair wearing sunglasses.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Actually, talking of Muscle Tower and its technology, can we talk about how sound works in Muscle Tower and how speakers apparently are video call holes, and sometimes you can hear people shouting through them and sometimes you can't? Like, I love the guys when Goku breaks in at first. He has this big conversation, like, I'm going to get you. And he's like, oh, we'll see that. And he opens up to the staff room, and the staff apparently didn't hear the conversation that was going on outside.
Or any of the mayhem when he raids the tower. That's cool, though. That's actually one of my favorite parts of the episode because that is straight from the manga. The Metallitron fight in the manga certainly isn't as long as it is in the episode. Whereas with the 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 manga has him like totally like bust in like he normally does, like the Naruto pose, and they just get annihilated. They get annihilated. There's something interesting about the fight for these henchmen here, where he'll hit them and they'll just kind of like rigor mortis and cascade over to a man.
Man, Goku racks up such a body count during Red Ribbon Army, and we never talk about it.
Oh
Well,
no, it's sort of the Batman joke. Those guys in the snow, sure, they're not dead, but they are unconscious in freezing wastes. They've got about 10 minutes before their noses come off.
It's not Batman that killed them. It's the fall that killed them.
it's their deeds that killed them, frankly. But the
They are
Ah,
superstitious
the
and
Buddhist
cowardly.
warrior has turned up.
the I do think it's interesting because we see Goku think he kills Major Metallitron. He like,
Yeah.
he panics and like tries to bless him. And of course Metallitron's a robot and doesn't care. Just beats the crap out of him
Has no
again.
soul. He will not get to Nirvana, so it's all
Yeah.
good. Don't worry,
Yeah.
children. Goku's hands are clean.
But it's the first
For
time, yeah, it's the
for
first time we
now.
see Goku react to something like that in that way, where he thinks he killed somebody, even though he's probably killed about a dozen people already. And it's just like, oh, sorry, you were a noble opponent. And it's just like, oh, okay.
I feel like at first Goku wouldn't quite realize he'd killed someone until like Master Roshi was like, "Hey man," because Goku just like, "Oh, they stopped moving. I guess they're sleeping. Bye." Like,
I think the first person that he is conscious of, and frankly, he doesn't even kill him, is Mercenary Tao when he kicks the grenade in his face.
yeah.
But as we know at the end of Dragon Ball, that didn't kill Mercenary Tao. But I think that's the first time where he's just like, no, you're done. We're going for you.
I mean, this he has a good go considering he deliberately charged himself through Metallo's heart,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
the King
also
Piccolo
just
move.
which I find that's really funny as like a foreshadow. But also, bad robot design there, lads. Don't put the vitals where the human vitals are, because that's where people are going to shoot. Put them
Yeah.
somewhere else, in the butt. No one will look there.
Also,
Unless you're Goku in the next episode. And
the
To be fair, he didn't do that. He fell on the stick. That's gravity's fault.
yeah,
He is cleansed.
yeah, but deeds not words, deeds not words. But um, so Major, we're led to believe that the reason Major Metallitron loses because he was running low on batteries.
yeah.
Which they charged last spring.
Yeah, not
How
the fact that he's been like punctured and hit with numerous energy blasts.
does he have like an AC adapter? Is this like a solar panel thing? Like now we're opening up the how does this robot get recharged
You'd
thing.
think he'd have contact charging. If you're going to leave him on a chair half the it, put a
Yeah,
plate in it.
Why wouldn't the chair be the charge? Because the chair being the charger makes the most sense, but it is not the charger. That is official now.
I
So,
guess I always kind of presume. I realize I presume this in this episode, but I don't think there's any proof of it. I think it's just something Kid Me came up with. Is that they don't fully understand how he works, so they just kind of plonk. That's why they don't send him outside. You just put him in a room and go, well, kind of like he's sort of like a bit like a Dalek in that he has to charge off the floor. Kind of original Daleks, not the later ones. They remove that from the Daleks. The Daleks used to be defeated by rubber bath mats back in the good old days.
the
Yeah,
old
stairs.
days.
Sylvester McCoy.
I will say Sylvester McCoy is a good choice. I was always more of a Peter Davison guy, but the battery gag is from the manga too.
Yeah.
So it's not something that the Funimation dub came up with. It's like, oh no, his batteries are dead, and it's like, really? Because he doesn't have a head or multiple, like there's holes in him.
Yeah.
To be fair, Dr. Giro is just in the back being like, okay, now I know what to do next. Like,
Yeah.
He's fiddling with the microwave, going.
Dr. Giro in the back is just like figuring, okay, we need a better way for them to charge their energy. Maybe if they suck it out of people. Like,
Maybe if I make one like a really weird mime, that will solve my problems.
maybe if I put one in a trucker hat. Like,
I can't wait until we get to the saga of how bizarre the design language of the androids is.
I love, and Android 13 confirmed for Sparking Zero.
Yes, the whole roster's confirmed.
fun fact about the Sparking Zero roster, there are 182 fighters on the Sparking Zero roster, which is the same amount of fighters as there were in the Tenkaichi Budokai that Tien and Chaozu show up in. So I think that that's very fun.
It is. I'm presuming it's deliberate. Like I just hope it is. It'd be just so cute.
Yeah, that's why we have over a dozen different forms of Goku, just so we can hit that number.
Look, if I can't play as every form of Goku from minute to minute in Dragon Ball, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I need to fight as Goku, but I'm slowly aging as Goku. Like I start as Kid Goku and I'm slowly like every 2 minutes I grow in
That
age.
Look, if they ever want to make a terrible game, that'd be an amazing mechanic where the longer you play as Goku, the older he gets. So you start with Kid, and then but you can't go back once you've started. Like
So
once
it's
you
like
want to get to the end of GT, he's just out of the roster for good. Like it bricks the game.
it's like Sifu, but with Goku.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is why they won't let me in. Bandai won't let me in their offices anymore.
Call me Bandai. I know the secret formula.
Would you like some bizarre Metallitron lore while we're here from the guidebooks? Because this is the only
Absolutely.
time we'll see him.
Yeah.
He appears not
I
in
mean, he has
flashbacks.
a hole in him,
Yeah, well, he reappears in GT, of course, as we all do. He breaks out
as
of
we all
hell,
do.
which implies he has a soul, which I don't really want to get into. Um,
I'm sorry. Do you remember that thing in Venture Brothers where they build the joy tube and they're like, it's powered by a forsaken child? That's
yeah, the
yes.
soul. We're gonna drop that and run. Yeah, his power level is 150, 50 more than Commander Red. The book also lists him as the strongest fighter in Muscle Tower, which is wrong even on the book's listing. But I presume they're not counting the guy, the general, as a fighter in Muscle Tower.
I mean, yeah.
I
So
guess.
you're telling me that I don't buy that General White is stronger than Metallitron personally. When we get there, you're gonna see how General White fights. Also, he's facing a Goku that's run through the cold, beat up a bunch of people, fought a robot, gotten uh, like spiked by a ninja and his brothers. And yeah, I can see Metallitron being stronger than General White.
Oh my god,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just Die Hard.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love the tree of my booklet because you can totally tell it's like, well, I've got to organize these somehow.
Yeah.
We're at the point of everyone being about 100, 150, and there's the rare 200, which is seemingly just like Toriyama was there for Tom Bowler drum on the day of, like, and yep, these 200, these 200. I've got to get a quarter of them in. Can't have them all be 150.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't appear again till GT. He's in Mystical Adventure, and he does appear in Path to Power, where he's totally redesigned to not be Arnold, but to be a Baki character.
Yeah.
He's just a bold dude, which is certainly a choice.
Less
Yeah,
fun.
I don't like the redesigns in Path to Power, despite owning production art from Path to Power.
I like some of them, but that one was definitely the one where I go, yeah, maybe should have stuck with. I guess you can't get away with just blatantly ripping off the Terminator this late, but
Yeah. At that point, it would have been a post Terminator 2 world. Path to Power is like 96. They're also using like the GT, like more smoother faced animation style. And so I
Yeah.
don't know how this big craggly Major Metallitron would work in that way.
he looks like the gangers from another Doctor Who thing. He looks like a ganger, which is they look ugly as well. It's not a
Yeah.
good design.
Yeah.
I did also find out when doing this, there is the toy company Epoch made a Muscle Tower toy set where you had
How
to buy
much is
each
it?
floor individually.
Yeah, of course.
Each
How
one was like
much
a
is it
little
on
thing.
YouTube? On eBay.
I found collections of two of them, so I couldn't find the one with Major Metallo in a pair. In pairs, are about $700 each. I can find there's apparently 6 of the sets. Unfortunately, all the figures that come with them are like little muscle-like guys, so they're all one color, not painted. So Major Metallo just looks like a lump.
All right.
He just looks like a potato. It's very well strange. And also, Goku is the same height as him because toys. So
Unlike in this episode where Major Metallo is like if 80 feet tall.
yeah. No, here Goku's the same size as him, and Goku's also very, very wide. It's very odd. It's like I'm trying to think. This is going to go up in the head, but it reminded me of the level 0 forms from Kamen Rider X-Aid, where they're just kind of beans. That's what Goku looks like here. He looks like a bean. But hey, you do get a full set with every character in it if you want to spend your life savings.
You
Yeah,
know?
there goes the mortgage.
There
Uh,
goes the mortgage.
I
I
think
mean,
I'll wait and get something else.
Alex was alluding to this, but is this the first? So this is the first Giro creation we probably see.
It
Yeah.
has to be, doesn't it?
Either that or it would be the weird friendly pilot robot that freezes to death like 3 episodes ago.
Was that Giroux?
Because
It's just a
that
red
came out of
ribbon
a
robot.
capsule.
Yeah, and it knows capsules. I presume that would be a capsule corp job.
Well, I thought, I mean, because he knows isn't it a Red Ribbon Army aircraft they use because it's pre-programmed to go towards Muscle Tower?
True. I think this is a tough one because like Jiro's androids all have like specific things and like they have a theme. All of Jiro's androids have a theme, and they all have something like unique about them, and they all look something like a people. And that robot did not look anything like a people. It looked like so I don't know. It's weird because it looks more like the mecha suit robots that we see everybody having. And Jiro's robots are so unique.
Oh no, the plane. I'm just checking. The plane does have the red ribbon mark on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they've at least branded the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could just be like a naked, like maybe they didn't put the skin on yet.
Did Capsule Corp sell its proprietary technology to a warmongering insurgent society? The question we need to ask is Dr. Briefs a war profiteer? Yes or no?
Is he Dr. Wiley?
Is he
I,
Dr. Wiley?
I just think, when it comes to the capsules, he's, if anything, he's like an Oppenheimer at worst. People just use his capsules for whatever. They can use it to bring water to remote villages that go wasted because of a filler episode, or they can, transport an entire armada to level villages.
So Dr. Briefs is actually Milton Satan who gave knowledge to humanity either for good or for ill with no decision either way.
Yeah, apparently. I'm just looking and I'm finding no record of anything. Yeah. Oh, wait there a second. No, that's General Blue. We don't count him.
We're not
Anything
counting general.
Anything General Blue says can be willfully ignored.
Until we get
No,
there.
I find nothing either way on what that robot was. What could that? I mean, it
Nope.
did have Giro's thing of being a little bit useless,
Sure.
It did have his thing of being a little bit useless.
having a quite major oversight somewhere in the design process. That's gonna bug me now. That's my weekend gone.
This is gonna bug me too. Like,
Dear Mr. Toby.
Excuse me, if somebody over there is like just trying to write through Google Translate, dear
Dear
Toei,
John Toey.
dear John Toei. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I think this is definitely the first like Android we see, because the other one was a Cylon.
Yeah,
This is the first like humanoid one with bits of flesh on it.
maybe this was when Jiro got upgraded from being an intern. Like maybe this was his special project.
It could just be a prototype. I mean, it freezes. It's clearly, it freezes. This weird Chappie before Chappie robot is just a prototype. Just like, Metallitron is the real deal, and then Android 8 is the realer deal.
See, I feel like the thing with the Red Ribbon Army saga, at least for me, and why I remember liking it so much, and now why I'm in it, I'm like, what's happening? I feel like there's so many interesting questions to ask about the Red Ribbon Army saga, and so few of them are going to get answered.
I remember it getting better later. I just don't remember these early episodes. Like I think I skip. My brain goes. Goku jumps into Muscle Tower. We go to like the second episode of Go Ninja Go Ninja Go, where it's still a bit iffy but not terrible, and then we sort of build up at speed with some androids. I think my brain just repressed to this little bit.
Well, it's such a flash in the pan. I mean, like Metallitron, like you were saying, apart from a silent cameo in GT and some of the animated movies, this is it. This is it.
he mostly exists to fill the group shots whenever we do a Goku flashback.
Yeah.
Because he's easy to draw, which is a nice thing.
Arnold Schwarzenegger confirmed easy to draw.
Yeah, I mean he's quite square. He's just a dude. Like he's just a dude. He's easier than some of the other people in his arc to draw.
Yeah.
Also,
But
want to throw out very quickly this final thought. I love the bit where they cut back to Suno in the middle of the episode, where they just blow the rocket hole up in the wall, and she's like, "I thought I was looking if I could see Goku because it doesn't really track with the animation." I think they were trying to imply that the explosion shook the entire house, but the mother didn't seem to notice. It's like Suno was just randomly going, "Goku." And sort of, it just really felt like the author was there, like the animators there going, "Please remember these characters exist. They are important for later. Keep in mind, they are real."
keep in mind,
Suno is here. We haven't seen a woman for about, for nearly an episode. We've got to have at least one.
Yeah.
there's a girl.
For
What about
marketing
you?
reasons, a girl has been included.
And her. What about you, Sam? Any final thoughts?
We're gonna miss Major Metallitron after this. I'll just say that.
Well, well, don't worry. The Terminator anime just came out, so he comes back in that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but he doesn't take out Ninja Murasaki.
But that I'm trying to think. My final thoughts are kind of similar. Like I do like Major Metallitron. I love Metallitron. I want to see him fight Optimus Prime. I think that would be very funny. But that also means that it is time for the end of our episode. I know I'm sad about it too. Maybe one day I can be turned into a robot so I don't feel that kind of pain anymore. But this has been DBR on CBR. That's right. It has been Dragon Ball Rewatch. We hope you continue watching along with us on Hulu and Crunchyroll, and we hope you continue to read along with us in the Viz Media translation of the manga. Once again, we have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time on Dragon Ball. Bye bye.